I'm Sharon Bill. I'm back again to talk to you about the circle of fifths. I mentioned in previous videos how you construct the various scales. We could construct the major scale by working out the tones and semitones, and also the various relative minor keys. If you want to just check back and look at those videos, that'll be helpful. If you could like and subscribe, if you hit the like button, that would cheer me up immensely. And if you subscribe, then you can be sure not to miss out on what's coming up next. There's so much more that we've got to learn. However, today I want to talk to you about the circle of fifths, because each of these scales, each of these keys has a scale related to it with a particular order of sharps or flats. And working each one out individually is very time consuming and very laborious. However, there is a formula where we count round in fifths in this circle of fifths that somehow magically works out the key signatures for us. I'm sure there's some whizzo mathematician out there who can explain how the maths works within this formula. It's utterly beyond me. I just know that if you count up in fifths, it will work out your key signatures for you like magic. Before we begin to work through this formula though, it's just worth knowing the order of sharps and flats that the progression builds upon. It always works in a particular order. The order of sharps in key signatures is F, C, G, D, A, E, B. I've worked out a little silly sentence to help you remember that. The more bizarre you make something, the more easily you will remember it. And so if you just remember 5 cats go down an empty barrel, there's your order of sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. The order of flats as you progress through the key signatures is B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And you can see on that little illustration I've drawn a really grotesque bead necklace with all sort of mismatched colours. As you can tell, I'm no artist. My husband's the one who's the artist. By all means, check his channel out and you'll see he'll have done a far better job than I would have here. However, if you think of a really ugly, gaudy bead necklace, that's the order of your flats. Bead, gaudy colours fade. And that will give you the order of flats B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And so when you have a key signature of 1 sharp, it will always be F sharp. If you have a key signature of 2 sharps, it will always be F sharp and C sharp, and we add on each time. And so if you've got a key signature with an E sharp in it, it must always have also F, C, G, D and A as well. You can only have those later sharps if all of the others are also in place. The same goes for the flats. So if you have a 1 flat key signature, it will always be B flat. If there are 2 flats, it will always be B flat and E flat, and so on, adding in each time through that progression. And so if you have a key signature with G flats, there will always also be B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, and the G flat. So that's the order that we're going to add into this formula, one at a time, building up the key signatures. In order to know all your major key signatures and all your relative minor key signatures, you only need to remember 2. You need to remember 1 major, 1 minor. If you remember, C major is related to A minor, which has a key signature of no sharps or flats. That's your starting point. That's all you need to remember. And we're going to work around this circle counting up in 5, and we'll work through the majors and then we'll work through the minors. So the sharp keys will be counting clockwise to the right up in 5s, beginning on C. So we know that C major has no sharps or flats, and that's our starting point. So now to add the next one in, we're going to work out our first key signature with 1 sharp, which will be an F sharp. So counting from C, we need to count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So G major has a key signature of 1 sharp, which is F sharps. So now let's count up for the next one for 2 sharps from G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So D major has a key signature of 2 sharps, which will be F sharps and C sharps. So now, counting up 5 from D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A major has a key signature of 3 sharps, F, C, G. We're on A, so we're going to count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E major now adds another key into the key signature. We've got 4 sharps, F, C, G, D. 5 cats go down. So counting up 5 from E for the next key signature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's B. So B major now adds in. So we've got an extra sharp. So we've now got F, C, G, D, A. Let's count up from B, 5. Now we need 5 full steps, so you just need to be careful here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not a full step. If you're not sure about tones and semitones, just check back my previous video. We need a full tone, so we're not F, we want F sharp. So our next key signature is F sharp major, which has a key signature of F, C, G, D, A, E. Okay, so now from now on, all of our key signatures in this major key structure will have a sharp afterwards. If we just drop to F and count up 5, it's much easier, and then we'll stick the sharp on afterwards. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sharpen it. So C sharp major has a key signature of F, C, G, D, A, E, B, and we know we've come full circle because we've gone from C to C sharp. There we are, we've completed the cycle. So that's all of the major key signatures, adding a sharp on each time as we go in the correct order. And so we do the same thing with the minor keys now. You'll notice on the chart a major key is shown by using a capital letter. So I've used capital letters on the outside for the major keys. Lowercase letters show that we're in a minor key now. So we've got a small letter A saying we're beginning on A minor. And so we begin counting 5. So A minor has no sharps or flats. It's related to C major. That's our starting point. Let's count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So E minor is related to G major and has a key signature of 1 sharp, which is your F sharps. Progressing to the 2 sharps key signature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So B minor has a key signature of 2 sharps, F sharps and C sharps, and it's related to D major, as you can see on the wheel as we work our way around. So now we need to count 5 from B. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need the full step. So F sharp minor is related to A major, and so from now on all of our steps are going to have a sharp after it because we need to add that full step. So F sharp and A major has a key signature of 3 sharps, which is F, C, G sharps. So we'll just drop down to F because it's easier to count up the white keys, and we'll know to remember to add the sharp in at the end. So from F, counting up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C sharp minor is related to E major, a key signature with 4 sharps, F, C, G, D. So counting from C sharp, so we'll add the sharp on afterwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, G sharp. So G sharp minor is related to B major and has a key signature of F, C, G, D, A sharps. And then we just need to count up again, counting in 5. So from G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So D sharp minor is related to F sharp major. And then we have one last one to go. So counting from D sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sharpen it. A sharp minor is related to C sharp major, and we know we've come full circle with all 7 sharps now, and we know we finished because we've come back to A to A sharp, and we've done the full circle. It gets a little bit complicated towards the bottom of that circle of fifths because we end up with what we call an enharmonic key structure, because really we don't often get the opportunity to play in maybe perhaps A sharp minor. We tend to convert it to the flat, so instead of calling it A sharp, we call it B flat, and so we'd play in a key with the flats, so we have less flats rather than more sharps, and so on. And so we're now going to move into the flat circle. We're going to count the keys with flats in the key signature, and so we count down, we count anti-clockwise or downwards in fives, and we're working our way around the other part, the left hand side of the chart. So we begin with the one that we have to remember, C major, which is related to A minor, and we're going to count down in five. So C major has no sharps or flats. Counting down in five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our first key with one flat of B flats is F major. So F major has one flat. So counting down for the next one of two flats. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need a full step. So not B is B flats, has a key signature of two flats, B flats and E flats. And so from now on, all of our major keys are going to have a flat after the title. So let's just count from B, because it's easier to count on the white keys, and count down for our next key with three flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So E flat. So E flat major has a key signature of B flats, E flats and A flats. So counting down from E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 takes us to A flat. So A flat major has a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats. So counting down again from A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 takes us to D flat, which has a key signature now of B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, G flats. Counting down from D flat, so we'll just count on the white notes and add the flat in afterwards. D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 takes us to G flat. So G flat now has a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, G flats and C flats. We're now on to 6 flats, and we've just got to count one more down. So G flat major, counting down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's C flat. Don't be off put that it's a white key. It's C flat because we need that full step. And C flat major has a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, G flats, C flats, F flats, 7 flats. But usually what happens is we tend to not play, we wouldn't play in the key of C flat major. Oftentimes we just play in sharps and play in the key of B major. So that was the major keys on the flat side. And so now we've got to now work through the middle, the inner of the circle with these lowercase letters to find out the corresponding minor keys so that we know all of the relative minor keys. This is absolutely every major and minor key all in one little chart. So we'll begin on A, and remember we're on the flat side of the key, so we've got to count downwards. We're going over the left hand anti-clockwise, so we're counting downwards in fifths for the flats. So we're beginning on A, which is related to C major. Now we'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So D minor is related to F major with one flat, which is B flats. Counting down in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. G minor is related to B flat major with two flats of B flats and E flats. Let's count down again. From G, we're counting down to the next progression. 1, 2, 3, 4, minor is related to E flat major and has a key signature of B flats, E flats and A flats. So now we've got to count down again from C. Let's count down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. F minor is related to A flat major and has a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats and D flats. So we've got to count down now from F. So count down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5 full steps. So we've got to go to B flat. So B flat minor is related to D flat major and has a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, G flats. So we need to count down 5 from B flat. It's easier to count from the white keys though, so we'll stick the flat in afterwards. So counting down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E flat. So E flat minor shares a key signature or is related to G flat major and has the key signature B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, G flats, C flats. And now we need to count down from E flat. Let's miss the black notes and stick that in later. So counting down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A flat. And A flat minor is related to C flat major and has the key signature of B, E, A, D, G, C, F flats. Again, it's very rare that you'd ever play in that key. We'd usually switch it to the enharmonic sharp key signature. That's basically how it looks on this circle of fifths, this chart. Now, I actually prefer to write it in list form. And if you just have a pop on the screen here, you can see I just add it in, working down, counting 5. You could even draw a piano keyboard to help you count through, but I find it more simple to understand in a list form, and it's much easier to just rattle through your sharps and flats in a list. It depends what you find most helpful. So really this is just another way at coming at how to work out your key signatures. I've explained in the previous videos how to construct the major scale, how to construct the natural minor scale, the harmonic minor scale, the melodic minor scale, all of which relate to this chart of what sharps and flats you would need to include in your key signature. This is just another way of coming at the same information but in a sort of a block booking way of figuring out all of your sharps and flats just in one fatal swoop. Just keep working through your list. If you don't need to know, perhaps you're on a different syllabus that doesn't require all of these sharps just yet. If you're doing your theory or your practical, you may only need to learn key signatures with 4 sharps or 4 flats. So by all means, just get to the point in the chart or the list where you need to get and then just stop. You don't need to keep going right the way to the end. Just add in the ones that you need to and then just stop when you don't need to know anymore until the next time when you need to learn some new scales, and then you just count on your extra 5. So don't feel bogged down and feel like you've got to get through this whole list if you're not really in the place where you need to know all of these scales. So really that's it. However, there's just a couple of little things that I want to add on at the end that I found quite informative really. I remember my A-level tutor telling me this, and at the time I didn't quite get it, but now I've kind of given my time to paying some attention to this. I find this really helpful. In a sharp scale, the 7th note of the scale is always the last sharp. And she told me this poem. It says, if sharps there be, the last is T, as in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Ti, do, 7 to 8. So if sharps there be, the last is T. The last sharp is the 7th note of the scale. And so let's look at, say, G major. So 1, 2, starting on G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. F is the 7th, so F is the last sharp, which is F sharps. And we know from that chart that I put up right at the beginning, when there's an F sharp on its own, if that's the last sharp, you've just got one sharp in your key signature. Let's choose a more advanced one to just demonstrate that. So let's look at A major. So A major, we need to find the 7th note of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So G is the 7th, so G will be the last sharp. And we know from the poem, if we've got G sharp, 5 cats go, we need F, C and G. And so we know that A major has F, C and G sharps in it. I just found that an interesting little tidbit. If that confuses you, just forget it and carry on with the circle of fifths. But I quite enjoy that little poem there. If sharp's there B, the last is T. Now with flat key signatures, actually, it's the key note plus the next flat in the progression. So you know that the progression goes bead, gaudy colours fade, B-E-A-D, G-C-F. And so the key note plus the next flat will give you a key signature. So for example, B flat major. So we've got a key note B flats. The next one in the cycle would be E flats, B flats and E flats. So we know that B flat major has a key signature of B flats and E flats. Let's go with a really extreme example and let's try G flat major, which has got loads of flats. So G flat major, your key note is G flat. So we need to add the next one in the cycle. Remember the poem, bead, gaudy colours. And so C flat is your last flat in the key signature. So you've got to go past one, B, E, A, D, G, C flat. So you go one extra. The only one that doesn't fit into that pattern is the first one, F, which doesn't have a sort of a flat in its title. So you know it's just got B flats in it. That's just 2 extra little ideas of how to look at finding your key signatures. Primarily though, you need the circle of fifths. You can either use it as a circle and work out the pie chart effect, or you can just work down as a list. If you're doing a theory exam, I strongly recommend that you just write this down on a piece of paper before you even begin any questions, and that way you've done all your thinking before you even start. I have written an ebook which gives you all sorts of preparation tips and revision tips for really getting you the top marks in your theory exams. And that's one of the tips that I give in the ebook, that if you follow the guidelines that I've popped in that ebook of how to get the best in preparing for your theory exams, you will really, really improve your score. I have never ever had anybody fail a theory exam. In fact, most of the time they get distinctions, and it's not unusual for my pupils to get 100% at times, especially in those earlier grades 1, 2 and 3. And that's just one of the tips that I give in this book that you can pick up and hopefully make use of. So that is a massive, massive subject, the circle of fifths. I hope that I've made that clearer. There's nothing really to replace just getting your pens and papers out and just working it out and working through. Go back over the video again, press pause, figure it out, then keep playing again and write it again. I hope that's been helpful to you. If it's helped you, it'd really encourage me if you just hit the like button, give me a thumbs up, and if you can subscribe to my channel, there's so much more coming. And I look forward to cracking on with the next bit of theory, practical, piano, music in all its forms. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye.